Hello and salutations, everybody. Mr. the Vest Man here, bringing you Orcs Must Die. And typical stuff. Very typical stuff. However, do I take the Paladin? Do I? Yes. No. Yes, I do. So this level is probably one of the longest ones in the game. And it's also one of the strangest, just because it gives you so much time to kill the Orcs. However, we're going to jump right in here. So wave 1, be very careful. There's going to be aerials. There's going to be orcs coming from the north. Make sure you deal with the aerials. There's only going to be about 5 of them. And then you can very easily mop up the orcs. Wave 2 is going to be orcs from the south. However, there's no aerial enemies in the south. Only orcs. So, pretty well what you're going to do is you're going to stack the defenses like crazy in the north, so that you can take care of the orcs and the aerial enemies. And to the south, you're going to leave them a little lax. That way, you can focus the majority of your money to the north. So, you can see on wave 3, we've already got both doors pumping out enemies. You're going to make copious use of the teleportation things on this level. So, a couple things. You're going to need to keep an eye on the kobolds. I paused the game here. Awkward. You're going to need to keep an eye on the kobolds, and you're going to need to keep an eye on just the mini-map in general, because what's going to happen is you're going to be spending a lot of time relying on the rift to power your magic. In the first 5 to 6 waves, it's really difficult to get all of them, to kill every single orc with the traps. So keep an eye on the kobolds. As long as you can kill the kobolds, which pretty much you can, it should be, I mean, only a couple will get through. And since the rift has its own lightning, it'll take care of most of the kobolds. You can see here, I'm going back and forth. I'm just picking off any orcs that the rift can't get. I don't exactly know how the lightning works, but I know it doesn't fire too often. Now, on this level, you do got to keep in mind that there are shamans, as you can see right here. Best way to deal with the shamans is what you just saw, either fire or ice. In this case, I took ice because there was no need to use the fire on this level. So here we are in the north on wave 4, and we're going to try to just keep stacking. You see, I'm going to fix my little error here. There we go. We're just going to start stacking up the defenses like mad. Right here is a good spot to put more lava because they get funneled in a little tighter. And I believe, do I put it here? Yes. Right here where they go down these stairs, because once again they have to clump up a little bit to go down those stairs. And then copious amounts of arrow walls. I didn't really place them in a specific area. It was just, they're just there to pick off orcs as they get lit on fire. Or, you know, just pick off any orcs in general. And that will be that. Depending on how much money you have, I'd highly suggest putting down the brimstone over any arrow walls. There's going to be a lot more land-based enemies and a lot of orcs that the brimstone's really going to be able to take better advantage of. The arrow walls are great for mopping up enemies, but they're not great for actually getting the kill usually. Now here's an interesting bit. You can put archers up there, but they have a really hard time actually hitting the aerial enemies at that angle. So you're actually going to see my archers, they get just completely wrecked because the aerial enemies, the angle that they come out is just messed up enough that the archers don't have a clean line of sight. And plus, starting, is it this wave? I'm not sure. Around this wave, the aerial enemies rather, will start coming out very numerously. Now, fortunately, you can keep an eye on them because on the radar they're very easy to spot because they have a very different movement pattern compared to the orcs. Wave 6, you gotta be very cautious. To the north, an armored ogre comes out with the shamans. So your best bet is to freeze them. Hopefully you can freeze all of them. You see, I only was able to freeze the one. So your best bet is to freeze them and kill the shamans first, because if you don't, you will end up having an ogre constantly being revived, and armored ogres are very tough. Once you've killed the shamans, you can very, very easily just freeze the ogre You can either freeze him wherever he is, or you can wait till he gets closer to the rift, so you can just keep freezing him. To the south, make sure while you're dealing with that armored ogre, to the south you'll have orcs. So just be cautious, be very mindful of what's going on. You can see here wave 7 now. I'm stacking those archers like crazy, and it's still not going to be enough for the aerials just because of the weird angle. So what's going to end up happening is you'll see here in a couple ways. Once I've got these traps all laid out, I'm going to put the archers somewhere else. Starting around wave 6, though, wave 7, your trap should be thick enough to pretty much take care of anything that comes out. You can see I come down here every once in a while. I throw up the lightning. And of course, once again, if you do have any problems, just fall back to the rift and you can just cast magic like madman. But at this point, you should be pretty well set. The north is going to be your weakest spot because of the ogres, because of the flying enemies. You can see, even with that many archers, there's still a lot of flying enemies, and they come at a really strange angle. So you're going to have a hard time at the north. So that's where you're going to want to focus most of your time. To the south here, you can see I've got so much money at this point that I'm just stacking the defenses now so thick that pretty well nothing can get through. Now you can see here I have to come deal with these guys personally, because once again the archers are still down. They get revived every time you have a break where it gives you the option to pause. You can see though it's still to the north is still really hectic, and what we're going to end up doing to solve that is what you just saw. So at the south we put a bunch of archers, and we're going to stack the archers pretty heavy. This is pretty well going to guarantee nothing is going to come from the south. Not a thing is going to come from the south. Your traps are going to be so crazy. You got brimstone, you got arrows, you've got archers. Nothing should be coming from the south. I know at the beginning I said you should stack it in the north, but by the end of the game, you actually want to have the south to be the one where you don't have to pay attention to. You want the north to be the focus of your attention. So what I decided to do, I'm actually out of guardians right here. Guardian limit reached. So what I decided to do is I actually kill some of the archers to make room for more guardians, because what's going to happen is you're going to have more ogres come, and we'll just see that here shortly. I want to set up. Boop. There we go. We kill that one. And I was going to kill 2. I wanted to put down 2 paladins, but I didn't think it was going to be necessary coming from the southern exit. There we go. So on wave 10, you have a fire giant in the south. Yeah, fire ogre, rather. Very easy to take care of. You can see here I buy the running upgrade because I'm sick and tired of how slow I am. Go through the teleporter, go through that teleporter. And you can see up here, because now I've got archers down at the end of the hall. Pretty well nothing's getting through. And this is pretty well what you want your setup to be. I really can't stress that the brimstone is going to make it for you, and you just got to make sure you stack it in such a way. Make sure it's not side by side by side, 10 rows deep. You want them spaced out like I have them, and then put up your arrow walls when you have the money. The arrow wall should be one of your last priorities, though. You want archers before the arrow walls. You can see now all the archers are just doing wonders. On wave 12, you're pretty well nothing's going to change between waves like 8 through 12. You're just going to beef up stuff a little bit more. Your brimstone's really going to do it for you. The brimstone's going to take care of the kobolds. It's going to take care of the orcs. The only thing the brimstone can't take care of is ogres, and that's why we have paladins and archers now. I can't stress enough. Keep an eye on the mini-map. Keep an eye on the voice that sometimes will pop up saying, archers are under attack, paladins are dead, and you should be fine. And that's the 5 skull for mission this one. I thank you for watching here at Xbox Live Arcade Fans. I'm Mr. the Vestman, and we will see everyone next time.